August 1993, the Khamar-Daban mountain range in Siberia. It is a place of breathtaking beauty and absolute isolation. 7 experienced hikers venture into the wild, but only one will return. In a matter of minutes, a terrifying and sudden madness overtakes the group. 6 of them will violently die. Not from a bear attack, not from an avalanche, but from something invisible. Something that caused them to tear off their clothes, bleed from their eyes, and turn on themselves. Welcome to the Khamar-Daban Incident, a mystery so chilling it defies all logic. Deep in southern Siberia lies the Khamar-Daban mountain range. It is a place of breathtaking beauty, but also unforgiving wilderness. The expedition was led by Lyudmila Korovina. She was 41 years old, a certified master survivalist, and a highly respected hiking instructor who knew this terrain better than almost anyone. With her were 6 young students, ranging from 15 to 24 years old. They were packed, trained, and prepared for anything. Or so they thought. On August 4th, the environment violently turned on them. A freak summer storm hammered the mountains out of nowhere. The rain quickly turned to sleet, and then to freezing snow. Temperatures plunged drastically. The group's clothing became soaked through as they were battered by brutal, relentless winds. But here is where the mystery truly begins. Instead of hiking down into the nearby tree line, which was only a short, relatively easy distance away where they could have found shelter from the wind and built a fire, Lyudmila ordered the group to stop. They set up camp right on the exposed, freezing mountain ridge. Why would a master survivalist make such a deadly, baffling mistake? Was she trying to toughen up her students with a grueling survival test? Had she become disoriented from the cold? Or were they simply too exhausted to take another step? Whatever the reason, that single fatal decision sealed their fate. The next morning brought sheer horror. On August 5th, despite surviving the freezing night, the group was in a desperate state. They hastily packed up their tents and prepared to finally descend toward the safety of the trees. But suddenly, Lyudmila collapsed. The students watched in absolute shock as their hardened leader began to violently convulse. She was frothing at the mouth. To their absolute horror, blood began pouring from her eyes and her ears. Within moments, she was dead. Then the nightmare truly took hold. A chain reaction of absolute, unexplainable terror infected the surviving group. One of the boys collapsed right after, foaming at the mouth just like his instructor. The remaining students seemed to completely lose their minds. Driven by some unseen torment, they began violently tearing off their own clothes in the freezing cold. Some started bashing their heads against the jagged mountain rocks. They scattered in a senseless, frantic panic, sprinting blindly into the wilderness as their bodies rapidly systemically shut down. Within just a few minutes of Lyudmila's collapse, 6 healthy, experienced hikers were dead, scattered across the bloody snow. Only one person survived the madness, 17-year-old Valentina. Terrified and entirely alone, she grabbed a sleeping bag and fled down the mountain into the safety of the trees. But her nightmare wasn't over. After waiting out the night, Valentina actually climbed back up the ridge the next day, desperately hoping someone had woken up. Instead, she found a graveyard. She survived in the brutal Siberian wilderness for 4 agonizing days, following power lines and a river until she was finally discovered by a group of kayakers. But Valentina's terrifying eyewitness account only deepened the mystery. The ensuing investigation was incredibly frustrating. Because of the remote location and bad weather, the bodies weren't recovered for almost a month. When the autopsies were finally conducted, the results were bizarre. The coroner noted signs of severe protein depletion, indicating severe malnutrition and badly bruised lungs. But there was absolutely no obvious definitive cause of death. So, what really happened? Some experts point to extreme hypothermia. As the human body freezes, the brain malfunctions, causing victims to feel burning hot and strip off their clothes. A very real medical phenomenon known as paradoxical undressing. But that absolutely does not explain the bleeding eyes, the foaming mouths, or the sudden simultaneous cardiac arrests. Did they accidentally forage and eat a highly toxic local plant, like the deadly veratrum root, which can cause violent vomiting and heart failure? Or was it something far more sinister? Because the area was relatively close to military zones. Some researchers suspect the group unknowingly stumbled into a testing ground for a secret military nerve agent that drifted in with the storm. Others point to a terrifying natural phenomenon called infrasound. These are deadly, low-frequency sound waves generated by high winds whipping over mountain peaks. While humans can't hear infrasound, it can vibrate the internal organs, triggering intense, irrational panic, physical agony, and psychological collapse. To this day, the Khamar-Daban Incident remains totally unsolved. It is often referred to as Russia's second Dyatlov Pass, a tragic, deeply unsettling puzzle that leaves us with far more questions than answers. What really happened on that freezing mountain ridge in 1993? Was it a bizarre cocktail of natural disasters or something completely unnatural? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Which theory makes the most sense to you? If you want to dive deeper into the world's greatest unsolved mysteries, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe. Until next time, stay safe out there.